Are you lying awake at night scrolling through TikTok watching 22-year-olds talk about their investment portfolios while you're over here trying to figure out if you can afford both groceries and gas this week? Maybe you've seen those videos where someone casually mentions they saved $100,000 by age 25, and you're thinking, cool, but I'm 30 and my savings account has $37 in it. Well, here's the thing those TikTok financial gurus won't tell you. Saving your first $100,000 fast isn't about having rich parents or getting lucky with crypto. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Saving $100,000 is hard work, but it's not nearly as impossible as most people make it out to be. The difference between people who hit this milestone in 3 to 5 years versus those who never get there at all isn't luck or a massive salary. It's strategy. And today, I'm going to break down the exact blueprint that can get you there faster than you think possible. If you're tired of watching your savings account crawl along at a snail's pace, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're about to completely change how you think about money. The brutal truth most people ignore. Here's the reality nobody wants to hear. Most people will never save $100,000 in their entire lives. Not because they can't, but because they're following advice that was designed to keep them broke. You know the advice I'm talking about. Just save 10% of your income. Cut out your daily latte. Use coupons. This kind of thinking will have you saving maybe $2,000 to $3,000 per year if you're lucky. At that rate, you'll be 80 years old before you hit six figures. The people who save $100,000 fast understand something fundamental that everyone else misses. Saving money isn't about cutting expenses. It's about creating massive gaps between what you earn and what you spend. And there are only two ways to create those gaps: earn significantly more or spend significantly less, preferably both. The income acceleration strategy. Let's start with the income side because this is where you can move the needle fastest. If you're making $50,000 per year right now, trying to save your way to $100,000 is like trying to fill a swimming pool with a garden hose. It'll work eventually, but it's gonna take forever. But what if you could boost that income to $75,000 or $100,000? Now we're talking about a completely different timeline. Here's how people are doing this in 2025. First, the side hustle isn't optional anymore, but I'm not talking about driving Uber or delivering DoorDash. Those are fine for quick cash, but they won't build real wealth. I'm talking about scalable income streams that can eventually replace your day job income. Freelancing in high-demand skills is absolutely exploding right now. Digital marketing, copywriting, web development, video editing, social media management, these aren't skills you need to go back to school for. You can learn them online and start charging clients within 60 to 90 days. Here's a real example. Sarah, a teacher making $45,000, started learning Facebook ads on weekends. Within 4 months, she was managing ads for local businesses at $2,000 per month per client. Fast forward 18 months, she's making $8,000 monthly from her side business while still teaching. That extra income went straight to savings. The key is choosing skills that businesses desperately need but struggle to find. AI is actually creating more opportunities here, not fewer. Companies need people who understand how to leverage AI tools, not compete with them. Second strategy, become absolutely essential at your current job. Most people clock in, do the minimum, and wonder why they never get promoted. The people saving $100,000 fast are making themselves indispensable. This means solving problems nobody else wants to touch, taking on projects that directly impact revenue, learning skills that make you harder to replace. When layoffs happen, you want to be the person they can't afford to lose. When promotions open up, you want to be the obvious choice. Document everything you do that saves or makes the company money. Then use that data to negotiate raises and promotions aggressively. Most people ask for raises based on how long they've been there. Smart people ask for raises based on the value they create. The expense elimination framework. Now let's talk about the spending side. This is where most financial advice gets it completely backwards. They tell you to focus on small expenses while ignoring the big ones. That's like trying to lose weight by switching from regular Coke to Diet Coke while eating pizza every night. The people who save $100,000 fast focus ruthlessly on what I call the big three: housing, transportation, and food. These three categories represent 60 to 70% of most people's spending. Small improvements here create massive results. Housing is your biggest wealth killer. The average American now spends 30 to 35% of their income on housing. If you're making $60,000, that's potentially $21,000 per year just on rent or mortgage payments. Over 5 years, that's $105,000. There's your entire savings goal just in housing costs. Here's what the fast savers do differently. They house hack. They buy a duplex and rent out the other side. They get roommates. They move to areas with lower cost of living but similar job opportunities. They negotiate remote work and move somewhere their salary goes further. I know someone who moved from San Francisco to Austin in 2023. Same job, same salary, but his rent dropped from $3,500 to $1,400. That's $25,000 per year in savings just from changing zip codes. He hits his $100,000 in savings 2 years faster than he would have staying in San Francisco. Transportation is the second biggest money drain. The average car payment in 2025 is over $700 per month. Add insurance, gas, maintenance, and registration, and you're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 monthly. That's $18,000 per year for something that depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot. Fast savers buy reliable used cars with cash. They keep them for 10 to 8 years. They choose where to live based on commute costs. Some go car-free entirely and use rideshare, public transit, and bike sharing. In many cities, this combination costs less than car ownership and gives you back hours of your day. Food is where people leak money without realizing it. The average household spends $7,700 annually on food, with $3,500 of that being restaurants and takeout. Fast savers meal prep aggressively. They cook in bulk, they shop with lists and stick to them. They see restaurants as entertainment, not regular meals. This doesn't mean living like a monk. It means being intentional about where your money goes instead of letting it disappear into 1,000 small purchases. The savings rate optimization. Here's where the math gets interesting. To save $100,000 in 5 years, you need to save $20,000 annually. That's $1,667 a month. Sounds impossible, right? It's not, if you approach it strategically. The people who do this successfully don't save a percentage of their income. They save a specific dollar amount first, then live on whatever's left. This is called paying yourself first, and it's the difference between people who build wealth and people who wonder where their money went. Let's say you make $70,000 per year. After taxes, you're probably taking home around $50,000 to $52,000, depending on your state. To save $20,000, you'd need to live on $30,000 to $32,000. That's tight, but absolutely doable if you've optimized the big 3 expenses already. But here's the accelerator most people miss. You don't have to save the same amount every month. The fastest savers front-load their savings when they have windfalls. Tax refunds, bonuses, raises, side hustle income, all go straight to savings. They also use what I call lifestyle lag. When they get a raise, they don't immediately upgrade their lifestyle. If they get a $5,000 annual raise, they increase their savings by $4,000 and lifestyle by $1,000. This way, they're constantly increasing their savings rate as their income grows. The psychological trick is to automate everything. Set up automatic transfers to savings the day after you get paid. Make it impossible to spend money you've already committed to saving. Treat your savings like a bill that absolutely must be paid. The Investment Accelerator. Now here's where things get really interesting. The people who save $100,000 fastest aren't just saving, they're investing strategically to accelerate their timeline. If you're just putting money in a regular savings account earning 0.5% interest, you're actually losing money to inflation. But if you're investing in broad market index funds averaging 8 to 10% annually, your money's working for you while you sleep. Let's run some numbers. If you save $1,667 a month in a regular savings account, you'll have $100,000 in exactly 60 months. But if you invest that same amount in the stock market and earn an average of 8% annually, you'll hit $100,000 in about 48 to 50 months. That's almost a year faster. The key is understanding risk tolerance. Young investors can be more aggressive because they have time to recover from market downturns. But even conservative investors should have some money in growth investments to combat inflation. Here's what the smart money does. They keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account for emergencies. Everything else goes into a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. They're not trying to beat the market, they're trying to match it consistently over time. Some people accelerate this further by using tax-advantaged accounts. Max out your 401k match first, that's free money. Then consider a Roth IRA for tax-free growth. If you're self-employed, look into SEP IRAs or solo 401ks that allow much higher contribution limits. The mindset shift that changes everything. But here's the real secret that separates fast savers from everyone else. It's not just about the tactics, it's about completely changing how you think about money and time. Most people think in terms of annual salaries and monthly budgets. Fast savers think in hourly value and lifetime wealth. When they're considering a purchase, they don't just think about the sticker price. They think about the opportunity cost. That $300 weekend isn't just $300. Invested at 8% for 20 years, that money would be worth over $1,400. Is the trip worth $1,400 of future wealth? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but at least they're making the decision consciously. They also understand that every dollar saved early is worth multiple dollars saved later because of compound interest. Saving $20,000 in your 20s has the same wealth-building power as saving $80,000 in your 40s. Time is the most powerful wealth-building tool you have. This creates what I call aggressive prioritization. They ruthlessly eliminate expenses that don't align with their values while spending freely on things that genuinely matter to them. They might drive a 10-year-old Honda but spend $5,000 on a course that teaches them a new skill. They might live in a small apartment but invest in high-quality tools for their side business. The key is being intentional about every financial decision instead of spending on autopilot. Common mistakes that kill momentum. Let me tell you about the mistakes that derail most people's $100,000 savings goals, because avoiding these pitfalls is just as important as doing everything right. Mistake number 1, lifestyle inflation. You get a raise and immediately upgrade your apartment, buy a nicer car, or start eating out more often. Your expenses rise to match your income, and your savings rate stays the same. This is why people making a $100,000 often have the same amount saved as people making $50,000. Mistake number 2, stopping during setbacks. Your car needs a $2,000 repair, so you pause your savings to build back your emergency fund. Or the market drops 20%, so you stop investing until things stabilize. Consistency beats perfection every time. Keep going even when it's difficult. Mistake number 3, trying to do everything at once. You decide to start a side business, move to a cheaper apartment, meal prep every meal, and invest aggressively all in the same month. You get overwhelmed and quit everything. Pick 1 or 2 strategies and master them before adding more. Mistake number 4, comparing your journey to others. Social media makes everyone else's financial life look perfect while you're struggling with the daily grind. Some people had head starts you didn't have. Focus on your progress, not others' highlight reels. Mistake number 5, forgetting why you're doing this. Saving $100,000 isn't the real goal, it's what that money represents. Freedom, options, peace of mind. When you're tempted to give up, remember what you're really working toward. Look, saving $100,000 fast isn't about depriving yourself of everything enjoyable in life. It's about being strategic, intentional, and aggressive about the things that actually move the needle. Focus on earning more, optimizing your big expenses, automating your savings, and investing for growth. Most importantly, understand that this is a marathon that you're running at a sprint pace. The person who consistently saves $1,500 to $2,000 per month while optimizing their investments can realistically hit $100,000 in 3 to 5 years instead of 10 to 15 years. That's not fantasy math, that's strategic financial planning. The difference between people who achieve this goal and people who don't isn't talent or luck. It's having a plan and sticking to it when things get difficult. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Start now, because 5 years from now, you'll either have $100,000 in the bank or you'll be wondering what could have been. If this video helped you see saving $100,000 in a completely new light, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss strategies that can actually change your financial life.